Well, the typical day for me is coffee in the morning, go for a walk,
playing pickleball, and then maybe coming home, either playing golf, going to the pool.
And then depending on the day of the week, it's either tennis, golf, or pickleball.
Look at this weather. It's just phenomenal here.
My husband goes in the morning one way. He was out golfing this morning, and I was out doing Tai Chi and clay.
We go to line dancing. I go to an exercise class.
And then we start happy hour.
Hi, this is Alex, and welcome to Season 2 of the Doomed Planet podcast. We are veering away from the Seattle true crime motif and plunging into obituaries. And it's going to be an all obituary podcast, and so we thought we'd start out with a show about The Villages. If you don't know what that is, it's a planned retirement community for conservative white people. It's in the middle of Florida. There's no ocean breeze or anything. You're literally in a swamp. It's hot as hell. It's literally going to be so hot in the coming decades and so humid that it's going to be unsurvivable. Yeah, it's a horror. And so obituaries, you say, well, in a planned retirement community where you have to be 55 or older to purchase a house, and they have all these rules, like you can't even have young people come and visit. You can, but only for a certain length of time. A lot of people are dying. Two village residents that I knew died a while back, not of COVID. And uninterestingly, if you go to the Villages News website, they kind of have a monopoly on news of the villages. There's an obituary section, and people are dropping off every day. You know, it's an area of well over 100,000 retirees. So, of course, people are going to die, but they don't ever mention COVID in the obituaries. And that's kind of sinister.
President Donald Trump stumping in the Villages tonight, his speech lasting about an hour and 10 minutes.
And, of course, the Villages helped carry Donald Trump in 2016. They voted overwhelmingly for Trump. So imagine a place full of snowbirds, racist white people. I don't know if there's any black people in the Villages. It's mostly racist, Republican white people who have lived a life of selfishness and now are retiring to even more of a life of selfishness. They have no concern for anyone but themselves. It's really a microcosm of much of America, and they're overwhelmingly Trump voters. It's just sickening. So do your research, snowbirds, before you retire from, your suburb in Winnetka, Illinois, and decide to buy a house in the Villages. Everyone there is a fucking asshole, all 100,000 plus of them, or most of them. And the insects are overwhelming because you're in a swamp. And if you want to go to the beach, sure, get in your car and drive for an hour. And Florida sucks in general. And then, of course, as a new citizen of the state of Florida, the government's really looking out for you. They're really stepped up with this COVID thing, and they did such a great job. No, it's hell. It's a hellscape.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Donald Trump. Happy birthday to you. Hey!
Most of the ugly, hideous, monstrous Villages gated retirement community development is located in Sumter County. They've had 710 cases, from December 12th to December 25th. They've had 4,783 cases and 118 deaths. It's sickening. So, and then again, this is a bunch of Trump anti-maskers. Mike Pence and Donald Trump both visited the Villages in this most recent election cycle. God, again, I got to say, my mom is 80 and is a lifelong Democrat, not quite a socialist or anything like me, or a Marxist like my offspring, but and this is what she has to say about these idiots that refuse to wear a mask because of it's some sort of right-wing political statement. And she says, I hope they all die. Okay, fastest growing metropolitan region in the United States is the Villages. So again, it's a microcosm of everything that's sick about our society. Started by a rich kid named Gary Morse. He's the son of the original owner of the swampland, the barren swampland. Morse died in 2014, and now his despicable children and heirs are running the place like their own personal fiefdom. And again, Morse was a billionaire, so you buy up worthless swampland in Florida, and then you come up with this brilliant idea. Let's build golf courses and we'll offer golf for free, and that will attract the dumbest, most selfish members of our society from up north. They'll want to come live here. And guess what? That was prescient.
Now, the Villages helped the president to win Florida back in 2016.
And supporters came out in droves. He arrived at around 4:30 this afternoon for his third visit to Central Florida in just the last 2 weeks.
Like other dickhead planned or gated communities, there's all kinds of covenants and restrictions and limitations on what color you can paint your house and what you can do with your landscaping. Pretty sickening. And also, like most of Florida, it's a service economy. So it's basically a bunch of retirees supporting the economy that is nothing but shitty chain restaurants like Chili's and crap like that. And guess what? There's not a person in any of those shitty restaurants that makes above the minimum wage in Florida. Okay, the Florida state minimum wage will increase from $8.46 an hour to $8.56 an hour on January 1st. Of course, if you're a tipped employee like a waitress, you're going to get $5.54. Keep in mind that first or second in line to get the coronavirus vaccine will be the elderly. So you're going to have all these people that are vaccinated being served by minimum wage serfs, a dead-end job of misery serving up shitty corporate food. Donald Trump, who's a rapist, criminal, gangster, and idiot, he got 70% of the vote in 2016 in the Villages.
They lined up early.
It's my first rally. I'm so excited.
And battled the Florida sun just for a chance to see President Donald Trump stump in the Villages. The rally comes one day after the final debate, ahead of Election Day on November 3rd.
Dick Cheney has visited, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, Sarah Palin, Rick Santorum, Ben Carson. All these despicable bastards have campaigned in the Villages. 20,000 people came to see war criminal George W. Bush give a speech in the Villages. So all the cliches of what retirees do, those are on offer at the Villages. Pickleball, woodworking class, that kind of crap. But mostly golf. It's centered around golf. And that's the marketing angle. I think golf is the whitest, despicable, most racist sport that there is. I mean, maybe skiing is more so, but so golf is so wasteful too. You're taking up this huge amount of land. You have to pump it full of pesticides and fertilizers to maintain this artificial, turf, and not artificial turf, but this artificial environment. It's despicable, but the people in the Villages don't give a fuck.
Do you know how many golf cars are in the community?
55,000.
I would guess 40,000.
75,000.
So the third generation of the Morse family controls the Villages. Obviously, these are despicable people. November 2010, Mark Morse, a top executive of the Central Florida retirement community, the Villages, has been charged with felony and misdemeanor hunting violations in Montana.
From the Villages, Florida, An Evening with the Developer, starring Mark Morse.
This guy he's like a Donald Trump Jr. Like, he gets his kicks going killing innocent animals, and in this case without proper licenses to do so. Like, your dad is a billionaire and you want to skimp out on paying for a license to kill wildlife? And again, Montana is a right-wing asshole state. So if they crack down on you, you know you got a problem. When somebody comes and violates those rules by killing multiple animals and hunting out of season, they are stealing from the people of Montana, said State Fish, Wildlife, and Park spokesman Robert Gibson. Morse could be sentenced to 21.5 years in prison if convicted. The 50-year-old landowner belongs to a wealthy and politically influential Florida family. His father, Gary Morse, again, he died in 2014, is a major contributor to the Republican Party and the developer of the Villages.
11 days from now, we're going to win the state of Florida. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House.
You know, during medieval times, they would often execute someone and put their head on a pike. It's basically a spear. And then they just stick it outside the gates of the town, and the animals and the elements would have their way with it. And then the skull would eventually be this bleached warning to other wrongdoers. And again, many innocent people were killed and had their heads displayed this way. But you know, it makes you think. And again, this is from the Orlando Sentinel. Morse's wife is accused of killing a mule deer buck without a license. His daughter, Kelsey Louise, vomit, who was recently married in Montana, is accused of wounding a bull elk with an arrow and killing a turkey without a license. He's facing a year in jail. Yeah, it's like, no, these type of people don't go to jail. Mark Morse was not arrested, but he did appear in court. Cases involving so many hunting violations and so many felony charges are rare. So they did pay a hefty fine, the Morse family, for this transgression. It's like, what is this, 1896? You're going out trophy hunting for big game? So Gary Morse, the patriarch, he's actually second generation. He's a marketing guy from Chicago. Like, who else there's so many people like that. Howard Schultz of Starbucks was a marketing guy from Chicago. So his dad bought a bunch of shitty, worthless land in a swamp, and then Gary came up with the idea, like I said, ooh, let's build golf courses, and then we will subdivide all this shit, and we'll make a fortune selling it to susceptible northerners who have this fantasy of Florida as like fun in the sun. And I know real estate developers created Miami with the same concept, but you know, Miami's kind of a beautiful city. It's also on the ocean. It's pretty daring. It's like, if you build a golf course next to a bunch of lakes and swampland, some idiots will come.
We don't hate the Villages, okay? This is just for information. We're just telling people some things that are less than ideal at times here.
Morse and his children, again, the Republican Party, and to a lesser extent, the Democratic Party, those are two of the most evil institutions in world history. Go figure, Morse and his children gave money to Florida Governor Rick Scott, George W. Bush, the Republican National Committee, and offensive, decrepit, degenerate slimeball Marco Rubio. Morse and the Morse family, they financed a big chunk of the construction of the Villages using Community Development District that levies fees on homeowners to pay for the roads and other improvements. And they can borrow money from the state using tax-free bonds. So, like everything, this billionaire, built up his fortune being subsidized by the taxpayers. And who sits on the district board? The Morse family. Everyone gets around with a golf cart. Have I mentioned that yet? This is kind of like college for old people. One major difference, there's the drinking and the drugging and the selfishness. One major difference is that in college, everyone is young and beautiful, and at the Villages, not so much. My relatives by marriage moved from their, racist white Midwestern suburb to the Villages. And they were immediately struck by the biting insects and how horrible they were. And so they're using this very powerful insecticide. You know, the one partner died of cancer, and they said, well, maybe it's because they just started using this horrible insecticide every day so they could step out of their house for more than 3 seconds without getting swarmed by insects. So she died, and then lo and behold, 5 months later, he hooks up with this other woman, and then he died a few years later. But what stands out here is that they were nice people. They're kind. They're also racists. How do I know this? This is before Facebook, the vile, right-wing filth machine of Facebook. There were things called email chains, and yeah, I know there are right-wing Jews. I mean, I'm not naive anymore about that. I'm not idealistic about that an oppressed people are all going to be progressive and socialist and kind and thoughtful and empathetic to others. But yeah, they had these anti-Palestinian email chains. And the one I remember, and very hate-filled, these people are subhuman and all this. The one I remember that was so ridiculous was a list of Jewish recipients of the Nobel Prize compared to a list of Palestinian recipients of the Nobel Prize. And, that was used as proof that, well, Palestinians are inferior. It's like, how do people fail through life being that ignorant and that hateful? It is a disgrace. And, those two people are dead, and they're being replaced again by my offspring who are Marxists. So, and when my offspring are of retirement age, the villages literally will not exist. It'll be just be a giant lake, a swamp.
In 2016, the president won the Sunshine State by just 112,000 votes. The margin of victory for the president here in Lake Marion and Sumter counties, 120,000 votes.
Okay, we're going to take a break for a commercial message of some sort. But before I go, I want to reiterate that Doom Planet, the podcast, is now all obituaries. We're also only doing one episode a month for 2021. I've just got too much going on right now, and we're just going to go into a hold pattern with that.
You can't talk about Florida and a new life in Florida until you address the elephant in the room.
Yes. Can I tell you the elephant in the room?
I know what you're thinking. But yeah, go ahead.
The elephant in the room is the heat and humidity. It's a pretty big elephant.
As I like to say, it's hot.
Try searching for news about the villages on Google News or anywhere, and what dominates the search is villages-news.com. Local, independent, serving the villages, Florida, and there are ties to the owner family here. So the obituary section, yeah, lots of people dying every day, and gosh, I hate to disparage the elderly, but there's not a lot of interesting people. It's golfing is a main interest, line dancing, and a lot of these baby boomer careers that are just ridiculous. Like you work 25 years for some company and then you retire with a pension. Like I can't imagine anyone under the age of 30 looking at that and not being disgusted. Like, how come these people got that? And now after so much austerity since Ronald Reagan and beyond, yeah, just that the young people have nothing because of these sinister, selfish fucks. And I'm being charitable here.
Here you probably heard about the publicized Sumter County tax hike, especially people like us that just bought a new home and it was newly evaluated and assessed, and, we got it stuck to us pretty good.
Milan Miles Pilney Jr. died November 4th. He lived most of his life in Yorkville, Ohio, before moving to the villages. So again, a microcosm of culture or lack of in the United States. You live in a shitty town in Ohio, and then you move to a shitty town in Florida and think it's the bee's knees. He went to Ohio University, and that's where I grew up, in that town, Athens. This guy actually had a pretty impressive career. He's an engineer, an insurance agent, and you know what? Golf was his passion. Golf. Can you imagine? And again, the Villages does not allow young people to reside there, or if they do, there's all these restrictions. But here we see Megan Ann Potter. She's 37. She died on October 27th. She's also from Ohio. And she worked at the Steak and Shake in Wildwood. She enjoyed Facebook and her dog, Gizmo.
Steak and Shake, the restaurant that made a name for itself serving hand-dipped milkshakes and prime burgers, has seen its share of turmoil. And now the company is facing even more adversity as it becomes yet another victim of the COVID-19 pandemic. Steak and Shake announced that it has permanently closed a total of 57 locations across the country.
Steak and Shake is like 99% of all restaurants in Florida. It's a shitty chain, corporate chain. It's owned by Big Laurie Holdings Incorporated. They also own Western Sizzlin', Southern Pioneer Property and Casualty Insurance, Southern Oil Company. It's like, yeah, I spent my formative years of my career working for a burger shack co-owned by an oil company. Edward Vance Otout passed away on October 28th. He moved to the Villages 21 years ago. In 2011, he had a stroke, which ended his ability to play golf. You might know the classist and often racist trope, Florida man. Florida has terrible privacy laws. And, of course, the Villages News has all of those salacious crime reports. Barefoot villager in pajamas jailed after fleeing from alleged brawl. Marcia Neal Vandersnick had been drinking all night. She threatened to kill a man in the Villages, and there's a mugshot of the poor old lady. Doesn't deserve to be on the internet and might not even know what the internet is. So you've got a lot of drunk people, and there is crime, and of course you're in a police state, especially the state of Florida, double down on being a police state.
Another frequent question we get about the Villages is the crime. Mm-hmm. Are there criminals living here? I'm sure there are. 130,000 people. There are going to be some criminals. Mm. There are going to be some sex offenders. There's going to be embezzlers. There are going to be probably people in the witness protection program. Who knows? It's a big city. But crime, you're safer here than most places, I think.
They also have the neighborhood watch, so they do have trucks going around the neighborhood every night.
Lady Lake porn suspect allegedly snapped photos of neighborhood kids? Yeah, again, the Villages, it's like college for drunken, unattractive old people. They're at the end of their lives, and their lives have been in the service of pleasing themselves, of just living a selfish life, not giving a fuck about other people.
Dislike about moving is that we're going to hurt someone's feelings. And we did. We hurt our family's feelings. And it has been a problem for me for a long time because I have been really bothered by the feelings.
Villager arrested after found passed out in golf cart with a bottle of vodka. 67-year-old Pamela Maroney slouched over in a black Yamaha golf cart. The golf cart thing, on the one hand, are those electric vehicles? Because that's sort of better than driving in a gas-guzzling chrome mountain. On the other hand, it's sort of sickening. It's also, golf carts are mostly two-seaters, right? So, yeah, it's like, fuck the grandkids. We're just going to have a two-seater golf cart, and we're going to drive around drinking vodka.
And then we start happy hour.
So you're retired. You've moved to Florida. Golf is not doing it for you. Well, how about 73-year-old villager enters plea in alleged videoing of naked granddaughters. Sweating driver nabbed with marijuana and more than $13,000 in cash. Oh, marijuana. A driver who was sweating profusely was nabbed with marijuana on the Florida Turnpike. God, where this Doom Planet obituary podcast is based in Washington State, marijuana is legal. And every single fucking fascist law enforcement pig that arrests anyone in Florida for possessing marijuana can die. Wasteful, useless, not even mentioning the racism. This is a white guy in this case, but
there's a rumor mill that goes around the villages. I mean, rumors are rampant here. They're kind of funny sometimes.
Well, you'll see more of this as millions of people are evicted from their homes through no fault of their own because of COVID in the coming year. Wildwood police officers seek help in nabbing laundromat bandits. You see people stealing items from Total Wash, Car Wash, and Laundromat. Oh, heaven forfend. Woman arrested after found foraging through dumpster at Total Wine.
What really excites me about coming to work in the morning is our people. You can really see that they believe in the vision and philosophy of the company by how much energy and passion they bring every day. I think what makes Total Wine's culture special is the openness to new ideas and the empowerment of our people.
In America, the solution to all society's problems is to incarcerate people. And of course, the Summerfield man joins duo behind bars after appliances stolen from residents. Daniel Alexander Boone and his accomplices, they did dope together and then they burglarized a residence. He was treated for a drug overdose at that point and then arrested. And that's typical Florida man, mugshot, white guy, and his 42 years old, but he looks ancient and he looks like he's had a hard life. You can see it in his face. It's because we live in a hard society. It's ruthless. Capitalism will just fuck you, especially if you're poor to begin with. We can sum up the United States of America in 2020 with this obituary. Lady Lake father charged in accidental shooting that killed son. A Lady Lake father has been charged in an accidental shooting. There's a picture of this cute little 12-year-old white kid holding an ice cream cone. It's heartbreaking. Christopher David Wyatt arrested Monday night on a charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child. He told investigators that his wife and their children watched a movie. They all fell asleep. The next morning, Wyatt and his wife carried their 1-month-old child downstairs, leaving Jeremiah and his 7-year-old and 10-year-old sisters alone in the master bedroom with a loaded Diamondback AR rifle. Yeah, we live in a police state. I mean, it's in a better world, let the geezers do their cocaine. Stonecrester with cocaine arrested after spotted swaying at Wawa. Yeah, Wawa is an East Coast, 7-Eleven kind of convenience store chain. He was standing in line at Wawa when a Sumter County Sheriff's deputy, also in line, noticed that he was swaying back and forth. Got back in his car, and the cop followed him, and the pig arrested him. And nobody wins here. The cop is a fascist. Drugs should be legal. The guy should not be... If he's doing coke, he can drive, but he's... the secret of cocaine and how bad it is because you become an alcoholic if you become addicted to cocaine because you need that depressant. You need alcohol to come down. That's the dark side of cocaine, or one of many dark sides. Yeah, and cocaine makes you go when you're fucked up to a convenience store for some reason and stand in line with a cop. The World War II generation, the greatest generation. Erwin Prindle died. He's age 96. He was born in Shingle House, Pennsylvania. And he's a Christian, a Gideon. That sounds sinister. 82nd Airborne during World War II. And he was a salesman for several electrical and industrial companies. And then he retired with his wife to the Villages, where they enjoyed playing golf for 28 years. Can you imagine a young person today thinking that they're going to have some kind of career where they will retire and have enough money to live for another 28 years?
Another little negative is it's a little crowded during the December-May period or time when the seasonal people come back to their wonderful homes. And I know we love being with them, and we have a lot of friends that are seasonal too. But the restaurants are a little bit more crowded. The traffic, the roundabouts, you have to take more time and be more careful. Golf tee times are hard to get.
Who was Gary Morse? According to Morse family affiliated Villages News, he was known for many things: shunning the spotlight, wielding significant political power, and giving residents Disneyland for adults. Again, it's like it's Arizona State for adults, except the adults are not young adults who are attractive and have a life ahead of them. It's old, ugly adults who are, selfish, defined as being selfish just because of where they chose to live. So the other thing is you kind of separate yourself from your family when you move to the Villages. It's like, well, the grandkids aren't really welcome to visit in a place where there's nothing to do but golf, and kids aren't even allowed to live there. It's like, all right, fuck the family. We're going to retire because we work so hard in our life in which we failed upwards as white, privileged white people. Now we're going to just play golf until we die. Yeah, but, Gary Morse only lived to be 77, so there's some justice there. The bastard could have lived to be 100, but not all billionaires live forever.
11 days from now, we're going to win the state of Florida. We're going to win 4 more years in the White House.
Morse was known for his love of politics and his unwavering support of the Republican Party. He was on a first-name basis with President George W. Bush. And we're recording this shortly after Christmas. George W. Bush is still the worst president in American history if you go by body count. Not American bodies, but, people in other countries. And hopefully we're going to keep Bush being the worst president. Trump could invade Iran, or who knows. Picture of Sharon and Gary Morse, 1999. There's the Ralph Steadman drawing from the Hunter Thompson book, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, or several drawings, I guess, where they're in a casino with a bunch of fucking cops who are decrepit and ancient and look like lizards. That would be Gary Morse and his wife. God, at least Gary Morse, unlike Donald Trump, Gary Morse was a successful real estate developer. Makes Donald Trump seem even more despicable than the current Morse offspring. And the current Morse offspring, by the way, they're full of self-regard. Even though they did not do anything except inherit $1 billion. But no, they're successful business people. They're managing the business.
Also, there are a lot of strict rules on your house. You have to have certain colors. You can't just paint any color house you want. There's guidelines, and you have to work on your yard and keep it nice all the time, because you don't want your grass to be higher than someone else's, and you have to make sure you're not putting crazy things in your yard. It has to be kind of approved.
Wait, Sharon Morse in oh no, he's had a trophy wife, so apparently he's survived by his second wife, Tracy. So this decrepit, elderly old fuck got a trophy wife. God, that's how Christian. What a sick society we live in. Again, much of this crime crap is from the villagesnews.com. In a now infamous incident, Trump backers clash with Biden loyalists during a massive golf cart parade. Again, there are not that many Biden loyalists in the Villages. If they are there, they move there by mistake. This is the incident where some dickhead Trump guy drove by in a golf cart and yelled white power at the Biden supporters.
Where's your wife, Roy? Where's your wife, Roy? Racist. Yeah, you got it. White power. Yes, there you go. White power. You hear that?
I did not know that there was no diversity down here when I came. Black Lives Matter to me. Trump is destroying our country, and I absolutely can't sit back and watch what he's doing. I can't stand Trump. I think he is a pervert. I think these people are part of a cult.
Villager enters plea in alleged case of video voyeurism in bathroom. A village of Chitty Chatty man has entered a plea in a Chitty Chatty. That's, you know what? I'm going to leave my racist white segregated suburb in a shitty Midwestern city and move to Chitty Chatty, Florida.
But the thing you all want to know about, and we get more letters about than anything else, can you guess what it is? Is it too hot?
Oh, that's...
Is it too hot here in the villages? We're in Central Florida, so we probably don't get the ocean breeze like they get in Daytona or the Gulf over there by Tampa. So we've been through the whole year. And let me tell you, it is hot in the summertime. It's hot here.
Here's a letter to the editor of the Villages News. Villagers can't help it when their children are arrested. To the editor, too many dirty details are so unnecessary. Also, no mercy shown elderly parents whose adult kids embarrass them with their breaking the law. It's beyond the fault of those parents who can no longer influence or have control over their idiot offspring. That letter is from Suzanne Michelle Zimmerman. She's 78. She lives in the Villages. She's affiliated with the Republican Party of Florida. So in that case, I do not care whether she lives or dies. We go we use Google to go to her house on Burnside Place. And God, it's really split level ranch house. You know, there are palm trees. You have to love that about Florida. There's a lake or a swamp nearby, so you know there's a lot of mosquitoes. And really, there's a recreation center and a golf course nearby, but it's just this, suburban development with cul-de-sacs and shitty single-family homes. And I imagine that Susan, either one of her relatives or someone she knows was embarrassed by Villages News publishing some of this crime bullshit. Honduran construction worker nabbed for driving without a license. God, and you think the Villages are racist. Driving without a license, throw him in jail, especially if he's Honduran. And guess what? A lot of these residents of the Villages, they have to have people come clean their house and come fix their house and do plumbing, and one imagines that not all of those people doing that labor are white. Oh, it looks like Dairy Queen has cleared another zoning hurdle. They're going to build another eatery in Wildwood. Dairy Queen is owned by sinister capitalist Warren Buffett, by the way. Well, that's good news for the Villages, because what people in the Villages like is to go to a shitty corporate franchise chain to eat their meals. And if they're going to splurge, maybe, Applebee's or Red Lobster. Villagersfortrump.org. The news section. The plot to steal America. Man in America exposes more of the deep state's attempt to hijack the presidential election. Yeah, you want America? Here's America. Homeless woman arrested after returning to bench at Spanish Springs. She's found on the bench. She was told the day before to stay away from the bench, according to the Lady Lake Police Department. So again, well, someone is homeless. We don't want to help them. Just throw them in jail. COVID. Did we mention that yet? COVID and the villages? Well, it's going to get worse. It's still December 2020 as we record this. As of Christmas Eve, the villages stood at 2,013 positive cases. That's a 230 case increase week over week. COVID vaccinations have begun in Florida and the villages. Villagers for Trump to learn about political Islam from ex-CIA officer. This is from November 2nd. An expert on political Islam will speak to members of the Villagers for Trump. We can't do a podcast about the villages without mentioning the Villages Florida Newcomers. This is an elderly couple with a YouTube channel where they describe their experiences in the villages. And these people do not have one shred of empathy or one care in the world for anyone but themselves. And all they talk about is, oh, the greens fees for the golf course are too high, and our relatives were sad that we moved away to this shithole place where children are not allowed, and it's so hot. And they do have a dachshund, so that's cute, but in general, they're just the prototypical, despicable, selfish baby boomers who have wasted their lives and are now, living a life of decadence, upper middle class decadence. I mean, very rich people don't move to the villages. It's more of a aspirational bougie thing. And it's embarrassing, but again, the boomers don't understand the internet. Like, guys, your faces are on this video. We know, we can see you. We're listening to your jive about your opinions of the villages are based solely on the world revolves around you. In the United States, we don't take care of our elderly. We like to warehouse them in institutions, or I guess the villages is a way to warehouse the elderly in a swamp. If you don't believe that, then over 80,000 people in adult home care facilities, corporate, for-profit, privately owned adult home care facilities. That's what all healthcare in this country is. 80,000 people have died of COVID, mostly preventable deaths. God, this episode is a bummer. Anyway, this will cheer you up. Captain and Tennille fans enjoy musical memories with singer in the villages. Tony Tennille with co-writer and niece Carolyn Tennille St. Clair offered an afternoon of musical memories at the Barnes & Noble at Lake Sumter Landing. If you're not a boomer, you might not know that Tony Tennille was part of Captain and Tennille. They had mega hits in the 70s. Love will keep us together. Do that to me one more time. It's fairly insipid shit. I did like the captain. He's a guy, never talked, wore a captain's hat. You could tell he was heavily drugged. And Tony Tennille's memoir was co-written with her niece. So they did a book signing. This is some boomer shit, man. And again, as a Gen X person, the generational shit is all bullshit anyway, but as a Gen X person, my generation is also a failed generation. I'll just put that out there. Yeah, first in line for the book signing was Ron Blunt. He presented flowers to Tony Tennille, and he brought an album for her to sign. God, this episode is a bummer. December 26, 2020. Governor and COVID-19 vaccine selfish villagers should be ashamed of themselves. This is unreal. Like many of you, we were appalled last week when Governor Ron DeSantis rolled into Florida's friendliest hometown with his traveling COVID-19 roadshow and promptly made sure 5 villagers with close ties to the developer received highly sought-after vaccines. We all knew that the rich and privileged would get vaccinated first, but that's madness. And this governor has done more to help infect the people of Florida with his COVID denials. This is unreal. These people, prison is too good for them. Some of the first villagers to receive the vaccines were Steve Prince. Voters recently ousted him from the Sumter County Commission after he made the motion to approve a 25% tax hike that was friendly to the developer. Diane Spencer on the utility board, Doug Tharp on the Community Development District Board of Supervisors. The villagers all have long-standing ties to the developer. That's December 4th. Loyal customers and surge of snowbirds boost business at restaurants in the villages. Restaurants are open? Pandemic has put a dent in the hospitality industry, which is Florida's only industry other than real estate scams. This picture is unbelievable. Line dancing was the name of the game Thursday night at Cody's Original Roadhouse in Lake Sumter Landing. And you have half dozen elderly women not wearing masks, line dancing indoors at a bar. Have I lost my mind? Could this be real? This guy, Fred Karamapur, is a restaurateur in the villages. He owns 7 restaurants. We're still sit-down restaurants. He owns the Bluefin Bar, Chop House, Belglade Country Club, Scoople's Ice Cream Parlor. His customers have been appreciative of the addition of UV lights in the restaurant's air conditioning units to help kill off germs, particularly those associated with COVID-19. I think the guillotine was invented for people like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis at odds with government leaders as COVID-19 cases rise rapidly. Some cities are challenging DeSantis by enacting local ordinances allowing for fines against those who fail to comply with face covering and social distancing mandates. They're continuing to loudly question why the governor won't issue a statewide mask mandate. That is insanity. Accusations also are continuing to mount that DeSantis put politics over health in the weeks leading up to the presidential election by downplaying COVID-19 statistics in an effort to help President Trump's re-election campaign. Health departments across the state basically went quiet in providing COVID-19 updates, especially when it came to the number of deaths reported. Okay, let's sum up all of America in 2020 with this from the Villages News. Villager enters plea in Fuzzy's vodka golf cart crash DUI arrest. A Village of DeSoto woman has entered a plea to driving under the influence, tied to her crashing a brand new Fuzzy's vodka golf cart. Danette Marie Skutak, 59, was arrested after wrecking an especially tricked out golf cart at the intersection of Fudge Terrace and Caulk Court. She entered a plea last week of not guilty to DUI. Police found at the scene an overturned white Fuzzy's vodka golf cart, which was equipped with oversized tires. Stutak had trouble standing upright. She had been drinking. She said she consumed 4 vodkas.
Now on the tee, 1979 Masters and 1984 U.S. Open champion, Fuzzy Zeller.
Get in there!
Birdie. Fuzzy's Ultra Premium Vodka, the hole-in-one vodka.
Trust your caddy, and please drink responsibly. 40% alcohol by volume.
Her husband was surprised when a representative of Fuzzy's Vodka rolled up in the decked-out Fuzzy's golf cart. He announced that Skutak was the winner of the golf cart from a field of more than 11,000 entrants. The happy couple hoisted what appeared to be Fuzzy's Vodka cocktails, much to the delight of their neighbors. The Fuzzy's Vodka representative pointed out that the golf cart was set up for off-roading. I'm guessing Fuzzy's Vodka is that racist golf guy, Fuzzy Zeller. He's got his own brand of vodka. That's so pointless, destructive. Just like greed mixed with alcohol, mixed with stupidity. Fuzzy Zeller, he's worth $10 million. He's a professional golfer. He made a racially charged joke aimed at Tiger Woods, and that caused some controversy. He's got some Fuzzy branded vodka. Not good marketing, Fuzzy. Like give some wealthy white people a tricked out golf cart and then some free vodka and see what happens.
I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all.
A century from now, perhaps sooner, the villages will become swamp. Now, there's that book, The World Without Us. It's got a tinge of eco-fascism, but they talk about the scientific reality of when people leave, what will happen, and the villages will be mostly underwater when the people are gone, and plants and animals will return, and they'll reclaim all the shitty suburban houses, and the golf courses will become forests again. This has been the Doomed Planet podcast, first episode of Season 2, all obituaries. Hang in there, people, and don't be evil. Not in the empty platitude, Google corporate mission statement way. Just don't be fucking evil. If you want more information, you can go to doomedplanet.com. Although that just redirects to our Twitter page where we have, is it 51 followers? Yeah, anyway, Happy New Year. Goodbye.
Yeah, we had over 11,000 folks enter the contest. We were lucky enough to win. So congratulations, man. Awesome. Rick. Go sit in there, Rick. Let's get a video. Jeanette, get in there, honey. I need my phone.
Oh, you got tunes in here.
Yeah, I got the music going for you. I think the battery needs a charge there and charge pretty darn soon, if not.
You go four-wheeling in that thing.
Yeah, that's Fuzzy style right there. You can do some off-roading if you want.
Hey, Rich, say something. Say something.
Hello. Hey, this is a great day.
Thanks, man.
David, thank you for the cocktail. And, of course, thank Fuzzy for this wonderful machine.
5, 6, 7, 8. Goodbye, this is